hell walking. And that's a big deal. But think about the moments when you felt perfect, or at least good. When you felt creative, when you felt connected to something, in the zone, in love, dancing to your favorite song, fill in the blank. Think about the moments when it worked. Think about how you felt. Did you feel disconnected? Did you feel limited? Perfection is a matter of connection and flow, let's say. Openness to something. That's huge. Because so often people go, I'll feel that connection, that openness, that flow, those great big flowery Hallmark card moments that I'll put at the footer of my email signature. I'll feel those things after I get the thing I'm praying for. I'll feel good and connected and part of a family after I get my healing, or after the lottery ticket works out, or after Geico comes through for me, after whatever it is. I'll feel it after I get the brass ring. Here's the reversal. You don't get your miracle until you get the connection. It goes the other way. You want your healing? Do something about connection that is radical and brave. Then you will make room for the prosperity, for the healing, for the true love, for the whatever it is. Take action first. Proactive connection. And Jesus is talking about this. That piece of scripture about being perfect comes right after he says, go the extra mile. Did you know that's where we get that saying from? Somebody wants to go 1 mile with you, go 2. If somebody wants your coat, that outer thing, give them your cloak. That saying, give the shirt off your back, starts here. Jesus, who says, if you need to forgive somebody, forgive them 70 times 7 until you can't even remember what was I forgiving? Outrageous, radical mercy and love until you can't even remember anything else. If you want to be successful, if you want to prosper, if you want to fall in love or get the healing or fill in the blank, to get over it, make an investment in somebody else's success. Make some kind of investment in love, togetherness, happiness, success. Stand up for somebody. That's what this means. And I know the natural reaction at that point is, yeah, but I don't like everybody. Yeah, but I don't want to, because what if they have the good that I worked so hard for? Where does good come from? If it's of God, it don't run out. And if it's something that runs out, you're given from the wrong place. We talked about this, right? When you think of the defining characteristic of Christianity, think to yourself what comes to mind. Yeah, I know. There are people on the news who do all kinds of nutty, mean, exclusive things in the name of Christianity. That doesn't count. They don't get to speak for us anymore. It doesn't work that way. When you think of Christianity, what ought to come up for people, what used to come up, let's say, is the notion of forgiveness. In a way, that's what Christianity has brought to the table in a radical way. I mean, certainly other people were forgiving, but not like this. Radical, outrageous forgiveness. It starts there. Here's that quote that people love and then think about and don't love and then maybe start to love again after a few years of therapy. Turn the other cheek. Oh. Sounds great, not so great. Turn the other cheek? No, that sounds weak. It sounds like a doormat thing. It doesn't sound brave. Turn the other cheek? What are you talking about? And it's a weird thing to say in this culture that despises weakness. It's a weird thing to say in this culture that teaches that for me to be successful, somebody else has to fail. And it must have been a weird thing back then, because what we know about Jesus is here's the opposite of a doormat. Here's the guy that never minded making somebody mad. Here's the guy that stood up for justice and peace and inclusion, radical inclusion. Here's Jesus who didn't mind kicking over a table or two. He would go Real Housewives of New Jersey at the drop of a hat. It happened. So what does this mean? That turn the other cheek idea is easy to equate with doormatism. But we know from the example that that ain't what's going on. Instead, turn the other cheek means do not participate in hate. It's too expensive. Do not participate in hate. It's a cosmic spiritual way of saying two wrongs don't make a right. Let somebody be a jerk all by themselves. Don't join them in the party. It ain't no fun. But more, on the physical level, turn the other cheek means I'm looking in another direction. Maybe it's time to look somewhere else. Maybe it's time to find my answers in another place. Maybe it's time to serve. Yesterday, my daughter Raina and I were getting coffee and pulled out of the coffee place in the car, kind of pulled in the front, almost cut us off, but not quite. And I had a spectrum of reactions to that close call, especially because it was a Jaguar. And I love those things, man. I'm not even much of a car guy. I'm not that guy. If I had the kind of money for a big car, I would spend it on the church. You know me, it's what I would do. It's just a deal. But I saw the Jaguar, and I have to say I had a moment where I thought, wow, that's a thing. Look at that thing. I'm a human being, not made of stone. I had that moment. And I thought to myself at the stoplight, what does it mean that I'm thinking about this? Because I'm not really that guy. And I looked, it was almost like I was talking to God. It was almost like, okay, well, what does it take to get to that place? And I looked down at the license plate. It was a vanity plate. And it said, serve. Like, all right, God, fine. All right, I get it. Serve. A long time ago, my son Miles and I took Aikido. You know, that martial art, and it involves not hurting anybody. Which is great. We're going to learn a martial art that involves not hurting anybody. But it's beautiful because it has to do with using the other person's aggression against them, about not participating. See, this is the lesson about not participating in the aggression. And I grew up doing martial arts. I thought I was really good, and I kind of wanted to prove something. You know, getting older, but I got some moves. I can do some stuff, and I got all Bruce Lee for a minute, and the idea is, once again, if you have aggression, you're going to have it by yourself. And it's going to be reflected back on you. And they partnered me up with this guy who just looked like a guy. You know, no big deal. And we did the thing, and I stood and, touched arms. And I felt all of that desire to prove myself and to be cool and to win. And before I knew it, I felt all of those feelings spring back on me. It was like uncoiling a spring. Like, when you unscrew a pen and it goes, bing! But I went bing, and I found myself flying across the room, and it looked like he just moved a little bit. It was amazing. And in the time that I studied that, my son and I saw things that looked like magic tricks. And that's just a physical, crude representation of what goes on in our hearts. The basic principle of Aikido is, I stand with the universe. If you stand against me, you have to step outside that, and that's on you. I'm not going to go there with you. Radical unity. Turn the other cheek means I am not going to participate in hate because it is too expensive.